Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel is Finding Value. And someone in the comment section said, hey, can you chart AMC and GME and tell me, what my opinion is? Yeah, I can. And that's what I'm doing here. I'm going to chart AMC and GME. I know you guys are into these stocks. I'm not much into them because the value, I look at value, so it's a little bit different. But if you're technically trading this, these things are diametrically like opposites right now in terms of charting. So let's look at it, and I'll show you what I'm looking at. So first, I'm going to go from a weekly perspective on AMC. So this is a weekly chart, weekly, and we're getting the big picture view here. And the thing that was good here is if you draw down this line here, it broke out, came back and retested. I'll draw the line in real quick since I kind of just threw this together real fast. You've got this kind of line here. And I mean, if you guys want to crush it, you got to really start looking at the big picture and then drill down. So you've got this line, it broke out, it back tested. That's where you want to buy it right there, this back test. It came back up. And then notice how the up days are really large in candlestick length. And notice the volume down here. Big volume on the up days, smaller down days. Big up days, smaller down days. That means that it's continuing to move higher. Now, when we get up here, you can see this wick at the top. It means that it traded throughout this week, hit the top, and then came back down. The momentum's starting to slow here. This here I consider to be a forced move, like it wants to turn. So we need to look at the top here. We'll zoom in and take a look. Now, another thing to mention here, if you guys are trading, here's your base. This is your base. This is your launching pad. This is where you're jumping from. The farther you get away from this base, the higher the price goes, the less oomph you've got left. The sellers are going to far outweigh the numbers the further you go from this line. So if you want a very low risk entry point, you have to be entering in here. You want to get the breakout, you get the back test, and that's where you buy. That's your lowest risk entry point if you're going to trade this stuff. Now you're getting into a very high risk, low reward entry point because it's already gone up over 10 times from its breakout. Now I'm going to zoom in, see what we have. So what you want to see, this is a daily chart, keep that in mind. You see this thing pop up, and then you see these basically consolidation periods. And I see another launching pad here when you zoom in. This is another launching pad right there. So here's another launching pad, and you want to buy where these launching pads exist. So you came up, you created this pattern, we created another launching pad, you broke out and back tested. You buy the back test. It basically did a very large jump from this pad, I call it a launching pad. It jumps up, and now we're consolidating again. It looks good in terms of you're basically creating another pad here, and this is what it's called, impulse moves from each pad here. So you've got this guy here, you've got another little pad there that is basically forming this type of pattern, and it's consolidating up where the buyers are equaling the sellers here. You see that? This very well could break to the upside. Remember, there's a lot of risk in this. You guys you're playing with fire, but because there's no underlying fundamental value behind this company, this is a pure trying to short squeeze this up. But if you see this break here, if you see the break, I mean, you can go long on the break and then ride it for however long, and I would probably not be sitting in this thing. But notice every single time the swings are getting consolidating down. The swings are consolidating down. And this has a upward bias because of the large candlestick bodies and the small pullback. So what I would guess here, and what I would be looking for, is a break to the upside very soon. We're talking any second now, maybe even tomorrow. You could see a big move. And when you're looking at this, you're seeing the volume on the up days really push this thing higher, and then the down days are a lot lower. I think that this could potentially continue its move higher, but keep in mind, you're playing with fire here. I don't know the tailwinds behind AMC, if there is any. And that's why I stick to commodities right now, because I know the tailwinds are behind me, and it's always an easier, better trade with the tailwinds behind you. Now here's GME. Looking at GME, it looks a little bit different. It doesn't look bad, but this is a lot different look here. You broke the downtrend here. This would have been the lowest risk entry point, is right here by a long shot. That's where I would have entered. It was coming on up, and then we get the short squeeze. It's on, right? Short squeeze, and then you get the 3 pullback. This here is bullish because you've got such large momentum coming up, and then the sellers can only push it back this much. You have another large move higher, and then the sellers can't do anything. It's smaller, more muted days. And then you've got another move higher here and a smaller pullback. So this thing on a weekly basis looks pretty good on a weekly basis. Now let's zoom in and see what we can see on a daily basis. So this is the daily chart for GME GameStop. So if you're coming on up, you've got the nice big move and then the sell-off. Comes on up, you get this V, and then you go down a little bit. You usually make like this circle thing, and then the C correction. We're right there at the C correction very soon. So you might see this dip down a little bit more and try to scare everyone out. So it may come down here, and then I would look to see what happens next, and see if we get anything. You're going to have a reversal point. Right here, this is a bearish move. I think we're going to head a little bit lower here. How much lower? This looks like an A, B, C, C's down here correction. I still think we got a little bit lower to go. And then I would wait and buy into strength. I would not. This here is a total trade. And let me see here. This usually goes down. You usually get a hump, and then you're gonna get one big up day, and then you'll see it pull back to do the other correct. Well, yeah, the other correction here. I think you'll see one big up day, and then you'll see like a pullback that comes down here eventually. That's my guess. So you're gonna see one big up day. It's gonna kind of get everybody sucked into it. It's gonna sell off for a couple more days or a week or two, and then it will take off big if it's going to. So that's what I see in the charts there. Good luck with this, because if you look on the right hand side here, this is going to come. It's going to, I think, pull back a little bit, even though you might have one big up day. I've seen this pattern go over and over and over and over again. So hopefully that's correct. That's what I see. Usually I don't play with this stuff. I consider this playing with fire. So you guys can do what you want, but that's my take on it. If you guys like this content, give me a thumbs up. Thank you for listening. This is Finding Value.